In the aftermath of President Donald Trump's tariff announcement on April 2, his administration reported a surge in calls from world leaders eager to negotiate new trade deals. However, since Trump announced a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs on April 9, the tone from his cabinet has shifted. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is now urging the completion of at least one agreement. Nearly 2 weeks have passed since the Liberation Day announcement, with over 75 countries reportedly reaching out to the White House for new terms. Foreign leaders have expressed their desire to negotiate, with the European Union even suggesting zero trade barriers between nations. Despite the urgency expressed by the Trump administration, no deals have been finalized, not even with Canada and Mexico, who faced tariff threats as early as January. In a recent interview with Bloomberg, Bessent emphasized the benefits of being the first mover, the country that quickly reaches an agreement with the U.S. to avoid higher duties on its exports. He stated that there would be an advantage for allies who act swiftly, highlighting the first mover advantage, where usually the first to make a deal secures the best terms. When asked which country might be first, Bessent said, "It's their choice." Bessent's comments come as Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba expressed no urgency to finalize a deal with the U.S., even as trade talks commence in Washington, D.C. this week. Ishiba remarked in Parliament that rushing could lead to failure, and that compromising too much just to conclude negotiations would not be beneficial. Bessent remains confident that before Trump's 90-day pause concludes, the administration will secure several agreements to prevent trade allies from facing higher tariffs. He mentioned that while it might not be the final trade document, there could be agreements in principle to move forward. When asked about the number of deals expected, Bessent replied that it would depend on the process, but assured that they would proceed with deliberate speed. While at times the Trump team has downplayed its need for foreign deals, Bessent has revealed his intention to create a united front against China. This grand encirclement strategy involves striking deals with Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and India to pressure China, the only nation to respond with equally aggressive tariffs. Bessent acknowledged these countries as good military allies, but not perfect economic ones. He believes that by forming a coalition with them, the U.S. can approach China collectively. It's important to note that Bessent's first mover advantage theory typically applies to businesses within an industry rather than entire nations negotiating with a global economic leader. Research into this theory suggests why countries might hesitate to be the first to sign a deal. Fernando F. Suarez and Gianvito Lanzella wrote in the Harvard Business Review in 2005 that the benefits of acting quickly diminish in uncertain environments, a situation currently faced by nations. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon has noted that uncertainty is negatively impacting markets. Similarly, businesses have stated they cannot alter long-term investment decisions based on potentially short-term White House tariff policies. Foreign leaders are also focused on securing the best outcomes for their citizens for future generations, rather than merely appeasing the Trump administration during its term. Even United Kingdom Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer emphasized he would only sign a deal if it served national interests, prioritizing strength abroad and security and renewal at home. This stance contrasts with the Trump cabinet's outlook. Professor Joe Gomes from the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania previously told Fortune that he believes this administration has a strong conviction that everyone ultimately wants to do business in America due to its institutions, markets, and people. Gomes noted that while this belief is central, there are limits to everything,